Hello once again. I'm back with a favorite of one of my poems today, Buffalo Bills by E. E. Cummings. A little background on E. E. Cummings. He was known to just get rid of all punctuation, not follow conventions on capitalization or line length, a lot of enjambment, a lot of run-on lines, a lot of lines running together. And as you can see from the poem below, spacing that just gets crazy. Okay, what he did is he used the type on the page as a part of the meaning and interpretations of his poems. It was more than just the words on the page. It was how they appeared. It was what they appeared next to, above, or below. And he really got that next dimension out of a lot of his poems. If you have not yet printed out your own copy, remember, Buffalo Bills, E. E. Cummings, hey, Google, go ahead and print it out from a place like Poetry Foundation. And once you've read it a couple times and then aloud, we go ahead and come back and we will continue with our analysis. Alright, so we're back. And this is Buffalo Bill by E. E. Cummings. Buffalo Bill's defunct, who used to ride a water-smooth silver stallion and break 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pigeons just like that. Jesus, he was a handsome man. And what I want to know is, how do you like your blue-eyed boy, Mr. Death? Okay. So, right off the top, Buffalo Bill. Okay, if you don't know who Buffalo Bill is William Cody. He was an American cowboy. Okay, probably one of the most famous American cowboys. Not a lawman, not a fugitive, or somebody more infamous like Wild Bill Hickok or Wyatt Earp. Okay, he's not one of those lawman, lawbreaker type things. He was a cowboy, a wrangler of cows. He helped settle a lot of the Great Plains. He would take train rides. He'd go on great hunts, and he got his name by killing a lot of buffalo. Okay, he was also a great businessman. He went around. He was one of the first Wild West shows that went around. It was him and another character from the American West, Annie Oakley, who would go and they would put on all these shows and exhibition shootings and just show how fast or how far or how great their shooting was. At one time, it also included a sitting bull. Okay, and he came in with some Indians, and so it was just this whole Wild West show theme that he was the one that pushed it out there, and he was the one that got. When you think Wild West, a lot of it is drawn from these interpretations and these presentations by Buffalo Bill. Okay. So Buffalo Bill's defunct. Defunct is a funny word. Okay, they're talking about somebody dying. Okay, but this is interesting because defunct doesn't mean dead. Defunct means no longer operating or functioning. As a human, when we become defunct, yes, we are dead. But he does avoid using that word dead. Okay. Who used to? He's not alive anymore, so he used to ride a water smooth silver stallion. Okay, we got some run together right here of water smooth, and we also have a little bit of alliteration with water smooth silver stallion. We have that repeated S sound, water smooth silver stallion. Makes you want to read it all together. Now, I am not a horse aficionado, but I do know that silver is not a color that horses come in. I also know from my brief encounters with horses that they are not smooth by any means. They have bulgy muscles in the front and their rump. They can run really fast. They're veiny. They got tangles of hair all over the place. Okay? What he's doing is, E. E. Cummings, or the speaker, is dramatizing his water smooth silver stallion. Okay? Now, did he ride it in a water smooth way? And the fact that there wasn't a lot of jostling, was he that much of an expert horsemanship? Okay, or was the color silver of his horse very smooth all the way around, making it seem ethereal? Okay, a little bit more than it actually was. We don't know. What we do know is that he has run all those together, though. Okay, and he used to break 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pigeons just like that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is run all together, so you have to say it very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pigeons just like that. Okay, this is not the flying rats we have around school. That's not the type of pigeons that they're talking about. What they are talking about is clay pigeons. Clay pigeons is a shooter's accessory. They fire them up in the air, throw them up in the air, and then you shoot them, and they're clay, and they break apart. Okay? So what they're talking about is they're talking about how Wild Bill can have somebody throw up these 5 clay pigeons and shoot them down from the hip. Bam, 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 bam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very quickly. Okay? Jesus. Okay? There are 3 things, actually 4 things that have proper capitalization or proper noun capitalization. We have Jesus, we have Buffalo Bill, we have Mr. Death at the end, and we have I. Okay? Capitalizations all over the place everywhere else, but these few things are right there in front of us, properly capitalized. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 5 pigeons just like that. Jesus. He was a handsome man. Now, there's some little bit more ambiguity here. Does Jesus go with the top line as an expression of awe, or is that awe and wonderment left for the next line of he was a handsome man? It could be taken either way. It could be an exclamation of awe at the fact that he could shoot that well, or it could be an exclamation in the fact that he was a very handsome man. Okay, so and what I want to know is, okay, the speaker is coming to the poem here. What I want to know, he's been talking all along, but he injects himself into the poem. What I want to know is, how do you like your blue-eyed boy, referring to Buffalo Bill, Mr. Death? Okay, Mr. Death has a almost personal yet formal address, talking about you and I. Here's your you. Okay. I want to know is, how do you, speaking to Death, like your blue-eyed boy, Mr. Death? Okay. Now, we've run through it pretty quick. It's not a very complicated poem to read. Okay, but the ideas behind it are what make it that much greater. There are a couple different schools of thought on Buffalo Bill. Okay? There is the thought that this poem is written in awe of Buffalo Bill. It's very reverent. It's almost like the writer worships Buffalo Bill. He wants to bring out all of the good things that Buffalo Bill did and his accomplishments, and just what he does amazing, which was ride horses and shoot. Okay? So Buffalo Bill's defunct. He doesn't really want to say die. It's like hero worship here. Okay, you don't want to admit that your hero has died. But there is the fact that he's no longer there. Who used to ride a water-smooth silver stallion. Okay, stallion. The use of the word stallion is important. A stallion is a horse used for stud. It's manly. It's powerful. It's not gelded. If you don't know what those things mean, look it up. Not gelded. Okay? Next, break 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pigeons just like that. Okay? Jesus, once again, a little bit of awe, a little bit of reverence. He was a handsome man, again, admiring. And what I want to know is, how do you like your blue-eyed boy, Mr. Death? Okay? Not using the word died in up here when it says defunct is sort of like saying, Mr. Death, you don't have a claim over Buffalo Bill. He is above death. He is down there probably giving you as much problems as he gave the buffalo and the pigeons. Okay, there is another one. The other school of thought on this poem is that it is ironic. Okay? It's ironic that Buffalo Bill, who was great in life, who could do all these things, and who killed so much and so many. He was said to have killed thousands and thousands of buffalo. And he was said to be the best shot with a 6-shooter ever. Okay? And it shows. He used to ride his horse. He used to go shooting all these clay pigeons, or if you want to take the interpretation of some people, real pigeons. Okay? And this bringer of death, this man of destruction, cannot avoid his own death. And it's ironic that in the end, the trip he takes is going to be the same one that everybody else takes. Death is the great equalizer. Doesn't depend on, or doesn't matter how handsome you were, doesn't matter how you could shoot. What matters is that in the end, everybody comes through and pays their dues. Now, depending on what your motivation is for reading this poem, depending on what you're trying to do with it, if you're writing an essay about tone, if you're writing an essay about irony, you could take either one of those and suit it to your needs. You can pull out from the poem. What we have to remember, though, is we have to remember there's enjambment. We have to read the poem in sentences just like any other to get the complete thoughts. There are some ambiguous spots in here about, hey, what does that belong above or below? But that's part of the beauty of the poem. It can do what it does, and you can get a lot more out of it than what are the simple words on the page. As long as you can come back to the text and point, this is why I think that it's ironic. I think it's ironic because Buffalo Bill, Jesus, I, and Mr. Death are the only ones there. In the end, just like the end of the poem, death always wins out. You could say it's okay? You can use the fact that they don't use the word dead, that there is also almost a glorification of his abilities with riding a water-smooth silver stallion and breaking these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pigeons just like that. Okay? It can go either way. That's what makes poetry frustrating for a lot of people, but that's what makes it so great to write about. That if you can come through and pull out exactly what is needed for your purpose, one poem can serve many purposes. Okay? That was Buffalo Bill's Defunct. Like I said before, it'll be on Edmodo. If you have questions, go ahead and post them there. Make sure that everybody can see them. We might, if everybody has the same questions, we can go ahead and have a small discussion. Go ahead, chime in with your ideas. Thank you very much. See you on the next video.